Hi everyone, Will Critchlow here from SearchPilot. I thought we'd do something a little bit different this week, and rather than interview one of my colleagues about a test that they've run, I thought I would explain a blog post I wrote recently. It's about a topic that's pretty advanced and it can be quite hard to get your head around, and I thought that talking it through might make it a little bit easier to understand. So how do you run internal linking tests for SEO? Well, the first thing that I think we need to ask ourselves is why do we need to? Why do we need to run internal linking tests? And the fundamental reason, in my opinion, is how poor our intuition is for iterative link algorithms in general. And I'm as bad as anybody else here. I'm definitely talking about myself as well as anyone else. I've set up little examples, I've given myself demos and tests, and I get it wrong as often as I get it right. And I know from putting out these quizzes on Twitter that I'm not the only one. And that's even when I'm talking about the most basic form of PageRank. This is the kind of PageRank in the original academic PageRank paper. And we know that Google is way more sophisticated than that. I mean, we know about things like the reasonable surfer model, and we're obviously confident that their thinking is going to have to have evolved a lot since then. And it's black box, so we don't even know what the algorithm is. But the underlying point is, even if we did, our intuition would be very poor. Figuring out whether it was a good idea to add a specific link or set of links or remove certain kinds of links, it is really, really hard. And we just don't have the intuition for that, even on a model scale, a tiny website, never mind at the scale of the web or a real world site. And so I feel like that's the fundamental problem. It's not helped by the fact that our tools don't really make this easier, in my opinion. We end up with a lot of visualizations of link graphs. They can be useful for debugging and diagnosing certain kinds of problems, but they certainly don't tell you whether you need more links to a certain kind of page or whether adding a certain link block is going to be a good idea or not. I talked a lot more about this in a great deal of detail in my presentation at SearchPilot London the last time we were able to do those in person before the pandemic. And you can check out the video if you have a Distilled U account, but you can view the slides either way. So yeah, that's the fundamental reason why we need to do this stuff. So let's talk a little bit about why internal linking tests are hard. Imagine a situation where we're adding an internal link from this purple page here, like that. For a normal SEO change, a non-linking change, when we change a particular page, we expect to see the results in a change in performance on that page. And that can happen when you add an internal link. The page that you're adding the link to can certainly see a change in performance. But with internal linking, not only that, but you can also see results on the target page as well, so the page that is receiving a new inbound link. And you can also see changes to the pages that used to be linked to, well, and are still linked to the other links off that page that you're making the change to. So it's a whole bunch more complicated than making an on-page change. So how do we run these internal linking tests? Well, there are kind of two fundamental approaches we take. One is randomizing the link sources and the link destinations. So choosing at random which pages are going to get new links placed on them and which pages are going to receive new inbound links from those pages. And that might look like, for example, deciding which pages are going to get more related article links. So we're going to go from, in this example, 2 to 4 related article links. What you might do is pick at random the pages which are going to get more links placed on them, so the pages that are going to have additional article links placed on them. And once you've done that, then pick the random set of pages that are going to be receiving those links, that are going to be the link destinations from them. So that's one kind. The other kind of test that you can run is to randomize the destination pages only. An example of this that we ran is where we had thousands of location pages and linked only to the closest locations that were in the variant pages. So what we did first was divide into control and variant, and then picked the closest pages that sit in the variant set to receive new inbound links. And so in this case, every single location page was getting a nearby locations link block added to it, but only some of them were recipients of links in that situation. And across either of these, you're going to have to measure the results in more than one way. So you're not just measuring the impact on the pages that you've changed, but also the pages that are now receiving new inbound internal links. If you want to read more about these approaches, there's a whole load more in the blog post that I wrote on the subject. And in any of these situations, what we're doing is we're randomizing those selections. So whether we're randomizing the origin of the link or the recipient of the link or both, then we are using an approach that we call salt shaking. That is our way of stratifying and trying to make sure that those groups of pages are as statistically similar to each other as possible, because that improves the sensitivity of our testing. So yeah, I mentioned a couple of examples there. Those particular examples were both significant winners. So you can read more about the full case study. The link is in the presentation. And in the first case, the related article links, this was an 11% increase in organic traffic to the pages that we were measuring. And in another example that we ran, some pages were added into the footer and some pages were not added into the footer. The pages that got the additional link got a 5% increase in organic traffic. We have some more of these on the website. If you are interested in our case studies, you should sign up to our email list, which you can find at searchpilot.com. Follow us on Twitter at SearchPilot to take part in the quizzes that we run, where we describe a test and ask you to guess what you think the impact is going to be. And if you've got any questions, follow me at Critchlow on Twitter and ask me there. Until next time, happy testing.